What's going on, everybody? What is going on? What is going on? First off, shout out to everybody that's here. Welcome to another edition of the live stream Friday on the Rain in Real Time channel. If you have not done so already, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you have not done so already, please go ahead and share this stream on all your social media platforms so we can get as many eyes and ears in this room today. So let's see, who do we have on here so far? Darlene, J.R. Jackson, Ashton, Joseph, Jamal, Pinky, JYB. What is going on? What is going on? I know I'm a couple minutes late. So, it is what it is. Not too late, of course. We have quite a few things that we will be discussing today. And I'm going to go ahead and make some more mods right now, too. I finally decided to switch over to the account where I'm able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now because I don't have enough mods on this channel. And trolls like to come over here, too. So I'm going to be doing that throughout the stream or with whoever I can catch. But I hope everybody is having a wonderful day so far. But before we get started with everything, we got to make sure to send our prayers out to Nicole's view. And in case y'all did not know, Nicole's husband recently caught COVID because I'm friends with her on Facebook, and she was detailing a little bit. She was saying that he's really going through it right now. I think she said last time I saw it, he's still currently in the hospital. So let's send prayers out her way that he has a good recovery. I think she said her and her son are going to take a if they haven't done so already, COVID test to make sure that they don't have anything. Because I know Harvey, he spoke about it on his channel a couple days ago. In case y'all didn't hear from him, y'all are hearing it from me. Family boy, you said you have moving now and you got two shots. Well, first off, let me just say that I hope that you are able to recover from that. And number two, let's just put this out here. If you got the scene, it does not prevent you from getting it. You can still contract it. I actually just got an email today from my job, and it looks like I'm going to have to take it. And I have to have it done by the end of September. So looks like it's gonna that's where I'm falling at with it. Jerome, you said I got both jabs, but as of April. Yeah, so looks like I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and take it. So it is what it is. They said I have to do it. I have to have it done by September 26th. So sometime this weekend, I'm gonna see who I can call, or because I don't know how it actually works, but I can, I know exactly who I can talk to. Because I'm not sure if that's something you could just walk in and do, or whatever the case may be. But looks like I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and get it. What's going on, Amara? Harley Quinn said, "Which brand am I going with?" And why? To be honest, I'm not even sure yet because, like I said, it's not something I really looked into doing. I don't know if I'm gonna get the one where I can get it all in one, or if I'm gonna do one where I have to get two of them. How you doing, Tina? I'm doing good today. Exactly, Versatile. Make sure you thumbs up the video. And Versatile, I did not expect that show to be that good. I was going in with the lowest expectations for Raising Kanan, and I actually really enjoyed this show. Like, this show is actually pretty damn good. Like, I'm actually shocked at how good the show is. I think I had mentioned that to you before. Bama boy said they're talking about a booster shot. Yeah, I knew that they were going to have to do booster shots and everything like that because it's going to the effects of the scene wears down after a few months after getting it. Mark says you can do it at your local CVS. Get it. Don't get the Johnson and Johnson. It's not that good. I wasn't looking at the Johnson because I heard so many problems about that one. And you know, what's so crazy. It's a CVS literally right up the street from me. Like literally, I could walk to that CVS. I'm not going to do it. It's too damn hot. So like, I could, I'll see what it is. But something tells me I'm gonna probably get it, maybe possibly sometime next week. If I have to get those two, like just get it and knock it out. Double O saying that you took the same months ago because you're diabetic. That's the same thing with my mother. She's a diabetic, so she had to take it. Like she took it, so she has pre-existing conditions. Now I'll put it like this: I will be the one. I'll be the one if I have to take it. I'm not going to be one of the people on Twitter getting into civil war matches with people saying you anti-vaxxer, you're going to hell. I'm condemning you here because you didn't take the scene. You're doing. I'm not going to be like that. Like I'm gonna just go take the damn thing and go about my day. It's gonna just whatever. If I have any side effects, I'll come on here and tell y'all what them side effects were. But that's as far as it's gonna go for me. And I'm gonna be honest. I have traveled 3 times this year by plane. I went to Atlanta back in February. I went to Michigan back in April and went to Miami in May, at the end of May. And all 3 times that I went, I took a WUVIT test before and coming back. That's 6 times in total. And every time I took that test, they all came back negative. And I was in close proximity with a lot of people every single time I went, like for every place that I went. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm like a mutant and I'm immune because that would be silly because anybody can get this thing. But as I feel as if as long as your immune system is up to par, you're eating right, you're exercising and all types of things like that. It might sound kind of cliche, but as long as you're putting and consuming the right things into your body, you should pretty much be good or have something within you to be able to fight this thing off. But that's pretty much how it's going to be. No one says I'm taking both versions of Pfizer because I'm not done restoring my house yet and still living at my parents' house. I took it to protect them and my other immediate family. So, I mean, hey, you have to do what you got to do. You may not want to take it, but I'll put it like this. A lot of people aren't going to want to take it now because it's in the early stages, but somewhere down the line, I think eventually everybody's going to take it. Because for the most part, a lot of people that I've heard or talked to, you either have the people that said they're not going to take it, then you have some people that says I'm going to take it, but just not now. Then of course you have some people who have jobs like I just found out through an email right before I got. And that's why it took me. I was on here. I got on here a couple minutes late because I was reading the email that my job sent me because they had sent me an email and I was reading it. That's why I didn't hop right on at 4 o'clock because I was reading that email. So they just said I have to have it done by the 26th or within 14 days of the last shot or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that taken care of as soon as possible. But I think it's more so that people just don't want to take it right now because it's still too early. And then you still have all these variants that are popping up. Like you got this Lambda one, you got the Delta one. You got they have something called Delta Plus. They got one called Delta Plus that's somewhere overseas right now. I'm like, they have gone from fraternities and sororities to goddamn streaming services now with this thing. What's going on, Marie? And like I said, I'm not like I said, I'm not one of the people that's going to get into a civil war match on social media if you take it or if you don't take it, because that's just how I am. Like you haven't seen me on. If people who follow me on Twitter know that I'm not getting into no argument online about whether you should take it or whether you shouldn't. I'm just saying, just be precautious. That's all I can say at the end of the day is just be precautious with whatever it is that you decide to do. But one thing I do will say is this, and then after I get this point, I'm gonna go ahead and get into these topics. Have y'all noticed that on mainstream media, and I posted this on Twitter? Have you noticed that mainstream media will talk to people who caught Wovid, did not who are in the hospital, caught Wovid, but didn't take the scene. And the people are like damn near death and they keep talking to them, but they won't talk to the people who have taken the scene and still caught it. I've noticed that for the last week or so. I saw it like Donna did it with some man who was in the hospital. He did a virtual call where this guy was on, like, could barely breathe. I'm like, first off, I can barely breathe, and you're trying to talk to me, asking me how I feel. How do you think I feel? I'm in pain. I can barely breathe, and you want me to talk to you? I'm like literally gasping for air after basic words. But that's just something that I've noticed. And I know what they're doing. They're putting those people out there for exploitive purposes of if we do this, then it'll make people run out and go and get the scene. It's almost like when they show them commercials of them starving kids in Africa so you can send them money. And when I say them, I'm talking about the people that's over the organizations because the money really ain't going to the people that need it. But that's basically what they're doing with this. So I thought that was pretty annoying on the aspect that they're pretty much exploiting these people. Noam King said if you have options, Pfizer and Moderna are the best ones, least negative side effects and little to no deaths. My thing with Pfizer is the damn CEO. Has he taken his yet, or is he still waiting to for the line to die down? Because remember them comments he made back in March? I will never forget when he said, "Well, when they asked him, so sir, have you taken the vaccine yet?" Well, I don't want to cut the line. What cut the line? You are the line. You made the line. You don't need no line. But hold on, y'all, right quick. I'm gonna come right back, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started. All right, y'all. I am back. Before I get actually started, I'm trying to make some more mods in here. So some of y'all are probably looking at the chat right now, noticing y'all got y'all names highlighted in blue now. That's because I am on my other account and I can now make y'all mods. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started. We have quite a few topics to discuss today. Um, so this is actually now that I think about it, this is actually like the first show that I've done in a couple weeks. When I say first show, I'm talking about a show where I actually a show that I've done that has topics. Because a couple weeks ago, of course, I couldn't do any shows because I was busy. Then last week was Freestyle Friday. That's not really a topic based show. So this is my first real topic based one in the last couple of weeks. And also shout out to y'all for sending me a whole bunch of stories. Like I've actually gotten this down to a T. So what I've actually started to do is I when I get ready to upload my videos, that's when I'll record my next set of videos. And I put in my phone what videos I have to record for the day. And then when those are done, I take those out. And if I get another fresh batch of videos to record, I put those in the list. That way, it's almost like I'm creating my own schedule. And what I usually do is y'all know the 6 p.m. videos are usually the premiere videos, unless it's a special type of video, which is like one that I'm doing today, because usually I don't upload on Fridays. But today is a special type of video because it's a movie review. So what I do is when I get ready to upload the videos for say tomorrow, that's when I'll record the videos that I have in my list. That way it's a way so I can make sure everything is structured instead of me going to my computer every time I get a video idea to talk about, because that's too much back and forth. I figure let me go to my computer, record these set of videos for the day, and then once I'm done recording, I step away from my computer for the rest of the day. Like right now I'm on my laptop because I go live on my laptop. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Let me go ahead and share my screen, put the audio on, because some of the stuff that I'm gonna talk about today does have audio attached to it. The first topic I'm going to talk about is the late great Aaliyah. Can y'all believe that it'll be 20 years on the 25th of this month since her passing? That is, excuse me, that is crazy how fast time just flies. I remember when I had got the news that she had passed. I was 12 years old. I was in my seventh grade. We just started school. Like school had started like the week before, and I was getting ready for school, and my dad had came to the door and he had said my name. He said, "Did you hear about what happened?" I said, "No." Like he said, "Did you hear about what happened with Aaliyah?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I just watched her on 106 in Park. Like, was it last week or the week before?" And he said, "They said she died in a plane crash." When he said that, I kid you not, my whole world just froze. My whole world just like stopped. And I'm like, and my first initial reaction was, "Are you serious? Like, please, like, tell me you're joking right now. Like, this is a joke." They was like, "No, it's on the news." I literally dropped what I was doing, and I ran to the TV, and sure enough, on every network, on all news networks, that was what they talked about. And then imagine me having to go to school that day, and like literally when I got to school today, that's all us kids at the time. That's all we were talking about because we had to wait for for the bell to ring so we can go into the classrooms. We would sit in the cafeteria, and that's all we talked about for the entire day. And it's not so much of her just dying; it's the fact and the manner of how she died, like in a plane crash. It's not like she died of an illness or natural causes. She died in a very traumatic way. And then, of course, 2 weeks later, we had 9/11. So it was like we just couldn't get a break. We went from one depressing moment to another depressing moment. But shout out to everybody else who just came in if I didn't see you already. But anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's this new book that's going out right now. And one report allegedly mentioned that apparently they feel that Aaliyah had took a sleeping pill of some sort, and they said that she was drugged. And I had put that out there on Twitter for those of you who follow me on there. And people were saying, I don't believe this. They was like, why, if this was true, why would the person who's saying this wait 20 years to come out and say that was the case? Because if that was the case, they would have found that she had a sleeping pill somewhere in her system during the autopsy. But that wasn't the case. And I said, you know what, you do make a point. That's why I just left it there and let the people say what they wanted to say about it. I didn't give my opinion on it. I didn't give my take on it. So according to this, it says no, a new book on Aaliyah doesn't claim she was drugged before her death. I don't think I'm gonna read this entire article, but there's a book that's being released, and this is actually the name of the book. It's called Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah, by Kathy Ian Doley. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce her name. And she wrote like a biopic or some kind of a book about her. But yeah, that whole thing about her being drugged, I yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that was really the case. What's going on, Blacklight Revelations? Yolanda said they need to let her rest in peace. They really do. Yes, Chosen One. Well, yeah, I did hear about that. Chosen One said also, y'all heard that Aaliyah's music will be streamed on Spotify and such. Yeah, they are finally doing it. They are finally about to start streaming her music on Spotify. Y'all just ignore that. That's just the phone ringing in the background. I'm gonna just let it ring. It'll stop. But yeah, and people have been begging for her music to be on the streaming platform for the longest time. But they never did it, and they're finally about to start doing it now. Some people who have Apple Music are saying, well, what about the people on Apple Music? They like, we don't have Spotify. But yeah, they're about to start finally putting her music on there. I guess they got the negotiations together because for the longest it was always a big hassle with her estate and her music and getting on these streaming platforms. So they actually released the dates of when they're going to do it because they're not going to do it all at one time. They're going to do it in pieces. Like I think the first round is going to be at the beginning of September, and they're doing it by album. Then there, one is coming out in September. I think two is coming out in September, and one of them is coming out in October. So the Aaliyah fans are finally getting their wish. Yolanda said the family is against this book. I probably. I always got to take when people do books like these with a grain of salt. Like, because if you didn't know the person, then how are you really writing their story? Because I don't know if this person knew her or not. Um, And when it comes to books, I always like to get it from the perspective of the person while they're still alive. And I don't know if y'all have ever heard Aaliyah sing live. I'm not going to play it on here because it might for maybe possible copyright issues. But I've heard clips of this woman sing live. And let me tell you something. She had an immaculate live singing voice that she even sounded better live than she did in like the recorded sessions. It's just that, man, like she was just a natural beauty. Like she had it all. Like it is rare that you find people like superstars who have the full package, and she had that. You know how you have your Michael Jackson's? He had the full package. She had that, and it's just it's a shame that she's no longer here to share that with the world. I've always said there's no such thing as the perfect being, but I got to be honest with you. She came dangerously close. Gary James, I think she sung at one of the award shows. Yes, she did. She actually sung at the Oscars. She sung at the Oscars when she was like 17. I think at the time she was like the youngest female artist to sing at the Oscars ever at that time. But yes, but she definitely, she could sing. I don't know why people try to play her and try to say she couldn't sing. She could sing. Chosen was Aaliyah was my crush when I was a little kid. I think that goes without saying for a lot of little boys at the time. I think a lot, including myself, thought Aaliyah. It was one boy I went to school with. He had the biggest crush on Aaliyah. Like this boy, he talked about her every single week. And so I knew that when that news of her passing happened, he was going to be hit hard. I don't even think he came to school that day when that happened. But yeah, that's the first topic right there. So let me move on to the next one. So we all are familiar with the Tamla Horsford case, right? Hold on, let me. We're familiar with the Tamla Horsford case, right? She was the black woman that went to that slumber party, and then all of a sudden she just ended up dead the next day, or they found her body the next day. And mind you, she was the only black person at this slumber party. Because the last time I talked about it, I was talking about how they were going to do or try to see if they could bring charges up against the people that were there. Well, fast forward to July 28th, 2021, of the date of this article being written. No charges in woman's mysterious death at adult slumber party, Georgia officials say. I am not surprised because if y'all remember that story about the black boy that went on that boat with his white friends, quote unquote friends, and they came back and he wasn't there and they gave all these different stories and they actually went and took all those stories as if they were gospel truth. Well, the same thing is happening here. And I'm sure the same thing's gonna happen. And now you don't even hear about that other story no more. Just like you're not going to hear about this one either. This is latest findings surrounding the death of Forsyth County woman during an adult slumber party do not support criminal charges in the case, according to Georgia's top police agency. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation completed its probe into the death of 40-year-old Tamla Horsford and sent its findings to the Forsyth County District Attorney's Office for review Tuesday, WXIA reported. Citing investigators, the GBI reopened the case last year at the request of the Forsyth County Sheriff Ron Freeman. McClatchy News reached out to the District Attorney's Office on Wednesday and is awaiting a response. The DA determined the facts and investigative findings do not support pursuit and prosecution of criminal charges. A GBI spokesperson told McClatchy News in a statement. Horsford, a wife and mom of five, died after what investigators said was an accidental fall from the back deck of a home in Cumming, where she was attending a sleepover with at least 11 other white, I'll insert that in, adults. In November 2018, she was found face down in the backyard the next morning. Horsford suffered several severe injuries to her to her neck and torso, in addition to a laceration to her heart. Now I'm trying to figure out, how does a laceration to the heart do that from a fall? The Atlanta Journal Constitution report is citing a GPI medical examiner's report. A toxicology report also found drugs and alcohol in her system, including Xanax. How much you want to bet they drugged her? They most likely drugged her. And the thing is, when she had the fall, I don't think anybody there reported her falling. They just left her there. The sheriff's office shuttered the case in 2019, but faced tough criticism over the finding of its investigation, especially from Horsford's family and friends. I'm not saying it wasn't an accident, but I am saying it was a cover up. Horsford's husband, Lee Horsford, told WSB-TV in March. I'm saying they made it look like something else. I just want the truth to come out. Best friend Michelle Graves was also skeptical of circumstances authorities said led to Horsford's death. It's impossible to get the injuries that she had from one fall. Exactly. Like that laceration to the heart. How does that come from a fall? There was repeatedly heavy drinking at the adults only party as the group played card games and watched football. Forsyth County News reported, citing a report from the sheriff's office. After the others had turned in for the night, witnesses told police Horsford went onto the back deck to smoke a cigarette around 2 a.m. One of them found her body the next morning and dialed 911. Forsyth County District Attorney Penny Penn on Tuesday confirmed there would be no charges in the case, saying the evidence overwhelmingly indicated Horsford died as a result of a tragic accident. This is one of them times where you wish a camera was inside the damn house. What's going on, Dee Dee? There was no evidence that anyone else was responsible for Mrs. Horsford's death or that foul play was in any way involved. Therefore, that concludes this office involvement with the matter. Bullshit is all I have to put on this entire so-called investigation. Like nothing they're saying even makes a lick of sense. That's why I said I could not, like I couldn't go to a function like this. If I'm the only black person there, nope, couldn't do it. I'm like, I will have to withdraw the invite. I'll have to talk to y'all at a much later date. And see, they're leaning on the intoxicated part and the Xanax part. I'm surprised they didn't go even further and say she committed suicide. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm surprised they did not go that far to say that this was a suicide. Damn, this is like, but when you think about it, at the end of the day, like this is messed up, especially for her family. And she has 5 children, and the last thing that they're gonna hear about their mother is that she threw herself over a deck, or at least that's what they're gonna say happened. But that's crazy. And this is how they're choosing to end the case. Like at this point, now that the case has come to a close, they're not going to, there's nothing further they're going to investigate. They're just leaving it right here as it is. I don't know. Let me move on to the next story. And that is the governor of New York. Put a one in the chat if y'all, if I have any subscribers who are in the state of New York. Is anybody in? Is I have any subscribers in here in the state of New York? Just put a one in the chat. Okay, so I see I have Mark, Jay Black, Menez X, Gary James. So of course, if y'all are in New York, I'm sure that this has been all over your news because it's been all over mine, and I even live in New York. And this is talking about your governor, Andrew Cuomo, and him being accused of being a perv. Now I gotta ask y'all a question. Do y'all believe the allegations? That's what I would like to know. Do y'all believe the allegations that are coming out against Andrew Cuomo, or do you think this is just a timing coincidence? I just want to know, do y'all think that, that he actually did what he's accused of, or do you think that something shady is going on? Okay, I'm seeing people saying that they do believe it. Dee Dee says she doesn't believe it. Spidey 2 said that he probably did it. Gary J said get rid of him. What's going on, Craig? Jerome said that he does. JR said that he believes. Okay. I just wanted to see. So the majority of you all believe that he actually did it. And I'm gonna be honest, them pictures that came out looks kind of look real suspect. They do kind of paint him in a little bit of a bad image. Now, what sets his apart from Bill Cosby is that these allegations are very recent. I think they said that the furthest back it goes with these allegations is 2013. So they're not even 10 years old. Meanwhile, with Cosby, them things went back how many years? 30, 40, damn near 50 years. And then remember last year, the reason why I say on the flip side, it could be a shady thing because remember last year with how he was dealing with the whole with the lockdown and quarantine and everything like that, he kept getting a lot of praise behind that. Then they kept mentioning could he possibly run for president and stuff like that. And I said, uh-oh, something's about to happen. Something's about to happen at the very thought of this man being president, and now this comes out. So I'm trying to look at it from both angles because it's a possibility that he could have done it, and it's a strong possibility that he is not doing what he's accused of. But you know what's so interesting though? You had that one woman that came out against 46. What was her name? I forgot her name. And they immediately tried to shut her down. They did shut her down because they had to get Biden into office and get 45 out of office. Amazing how they don't talk about that no more. Hold on, y'all. 007, did I hear about what Donna said? I know, yeah, I did hear about that. I might make that into a pre-recorded video. That goes back to what I was talking about before I started these topics. So I might thank you for pointing that out to me because I'll admit I forgot about that and it just happened. But I'm glad you mentioned it, and I'm gonna put that in my notes. And that's going to be a video that I record today. It won't go up tomorrow in the next couple of days, but it's on the list. But thank you for Spidey for mentioning that. But yeah, it's not looking good for Cuomo right now. It's not. And one thing I've always said is that one of the worst things that can happen for a man is just to have the accusation that you did something inappropriate with a woman. Just the accusation. It doesn't even have to be true. It can just be an allegation, an accusation, and it could be a flat out lie. But the fact that it happened or the allegation comes about can tarnish a man's legacy. or in a reputation or his image. And this is not me sitting here defending Andrew Cuomo because this can happen to any man. Look at what happened with Bill Cosby. And this can happen with any man who is not of the status of an Andrew Cuomo or a Bill Cosby. This could happen to any of us, and that can ruin you just on accusations alone. Look at what happened to Brian Banks. They did a movie about him. I'll admit that movie made me cry while I was doing the review because that man sat in jail for a lie. A lie. That can ruin you. Like that can ruin job opportunities. It can ruin relationships. Some family may not want to be around you because of the association. Then you got to hear people rumbling saying so and so and so and so said this about you and this and that. It's a lot. It takes a toll just on the accusation alone. Now, women on the flip side don't get that kind of criticism. Look at what's her name, Mary Kay Letourneau, who has been deceased for over a year. Granted, she did do some jail time, but they did not go in on her as heavily as they should have for the stuff that she did. And she did a lot of shit. Joy 31608. Yes, Emmett Till. Yep. And he was murdered, brutally murdered. So I'm looking at this from all angles. But if Andrew Cuomo did do what he's accused of, then he's going to have to step down because I know they want to impeach him. That's what they're trying to do right now. They want him out of that governor position. And something tells me that I don't know if this is a hit job or whatever, but I can't really call it. Jamal Bit, yep, George Stinney. That was very tragic. That boy was only a child. DS Miss Sinister said there have been a lot of PC female teachers who have done that sexual stuff to young boys, and they get a slap on the wrist. Of course, like I said, it's a double standard. The female teacher won't get as much scrutiny as a male teacher would. Even on accusations, she won't. And that's the double standard. That's why I said, don't come to me with that equal opportunity crap, because there is no equal opportunity at all in almost every aspect of life. And this is one of them. If the consequences aren't going to be the same, then don't come to me and say that something is equal, because it's not. Equal is just a fancy word in the dictionary, as far as I'm concerned. It's a fancy little symbol for a math equation. But now I'm about to segue from this New York story and head into another New York story. So we're not out of New York just yet. So my New Yorkers, be on standby for this one. Now this one really affects y'all. These damn pages be wanting these damn ads off or on. Okay. So New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio will mandate WOVID vaccines for certain indoor activities. And speaking of Bill de Blasio, I saw a video today. I just shook my head in shame. Do you know? Okay, so you know that they're doing incentives for people to take the scene. Do you know that Bill de Blasio did like a whole video with he was talking to the CEO of Shake Shack, and they were saying if you get the vaccine, we'll give you an incentive of giving you a free side of fries or free burger and free fries. I said, what the hell kind of incentive is that? I could make my own damn burger and fries, or I can go and just buy them. Like that's no like I'm not a cheapskate. And then he sat up there while eating the fries like they were so damn good. Like it was so good. I was like, The acting is horrible. The acting is horrible. But anyway, now they're saying that certain businesses and indoor activities have gone beyond you just having to wear a mask inside of their business. Now they're mandating that you take the scene to even come in their businesses. Indoor activities. They said the order goes into effect August 16th, which is the week after next, and will start full enforcement on September 13th for the state of New York. And I think I saw another state, I can't remember what state it was, saying they're about to do the same thing. What I tell people all the time, it's a domino effect. It's a domino effect. When one domino falls, the rest are going to fall with it. They may not all fall at one time, but they're going to start falling. Before you know it, this is going to become a nationwide thing. A lot of these businesses are going to start losing money to the point where they might as well be back into 2020 in a lockdown again. Craig, I've never been to Shake Shack before, and the crazy part about it is, it's a Shake Shack literally at the harbor. That's where the casino is, about 10 minutes away from me, and I've never been to Shake Shack. I'm not desperate to go, but I will try it just to see what it tastes like. So let me go through this and see what places they're talking about, because I already know. I think I did see where they said gyms was one of them. I think movie theaters is another. I'm trying to just skip to the part where they're talking about the locations, if they even have them, because this is going to hurt a lot of businesses, a lot of them. Let's see, checking vaccination status isn't like IDing a customer before serving them a drink. Staff receive training on how to do that. Now, without training, our staff members are expected to check the vaccine status of every customer wanting to eat inside the establishment. That's doing a lot. That's doing way too much. And even people who got the scene are saying that's doing a lot. Now, if people who got it already are saying that's doing a lot, you can only imagine the people who don't have it, what they're saying. This is going to hurt a lot of businesses. Okay, so it's not saying what businesses are going to be affected, but I do know I saw movie theaters, I saw gyms, I think pools, indoor pools, certain restaurants, and they're making it mandatory, which means the people who own these places don't have a say. They're going over them. So if you're like a small place, like, well, in New York, if you own a bodega, not like a mainstream place like, say, a Red Lobster, they're going over you. And if you are a mainstream establishment, you for damn sure know that they coming for you. And then, but hey, but guess what? Not only will they do it there, they're going to start doing it at grocery stores. See, the thing is, they're going at places where people will find it as not so much as a necessity, but as a place for leisure or whatever, just to feel like going. Because you don't have to go out to eat every day. I hope you don't, because that's a money add that stuff adds up, and you don't need to be eating that stuff every single day. But once it starts heading into places that you need it to be or need to go to, like a grocery store, then that's when it's going to be a problem. Craig, that's essentially what they're asking for. Tina said, I bet gyms, restaurants, concerts, bars, theaters. Exactly. And see, Tina, I don't know if you caught the beginning of it, but in this, I'm going to just mention right now for the people that just came in, I got an email from my job before I got on this stream, basically saying that I have to have the scene and show proof that I took it, or have by the end of September, which is when the season for sporting events start back up, because I deal with people. I'm around crowds of people, so I have to have it. So the venue that I work at hosts hockey games, basketball games, concerts, and other different special events throughout the year. What's going on, Vulcan? Jay Black said, can they afford to do that? Good question. That's a very good question. Can they afford to do that? Because we saw what happened last year where all of these businesses were hurting badly due to the quarantine. Now they're trying to come out of it for those who were able to survive it, because some didn't come back. Uh, to see if they want to do this again, and you're probably going to lose more money. I'm seeing some people in here say grow your own food, time to plant a garden, stack up on canned goods as well. It's about to get real spooky, and it's only the beginning of August. I'm curious to see what the rest of this year going to look like. But I'm just mentioning because this right now is for my New York people. They said the order goes into effect on the 16th, and full enforcement will begin on the 13th of September. But that incentive with the Shake Shack, they can miss me with that. Like that has to be one of the worst incentive. Well, that has to be one of the worst incentives I've seen so far since DC tried to give out free weed. Like I said, for me, this is all a money thing. Point blank, period. That's all I'm getting from this. It's a money thing. That's why it kills me when people try to tell me that the US is not a capitalist society. When they're doing stuff like this is the primary definitive of a capitalist society. For those who wanted a capitalist society, but they didn't want a socialist one, congratulations, here it is. Welcome to the capitalism of the United States of America. This is it. And this is only the beginning. It's going to get more interesting as time goes forward. It's amazing the people that say they don't like capitalist society or they like it, but when it affects them in a way they don't want to, now they want to cry, bitch, and complain. Here you go. This is part of it. They only wanted a capitalist society when it benefits them, not when it affects them negatively. And by they, y'all already know who they are. I said you can't ask for something you don't know and not know how it works. It's the reason why they call it a capitalist society. But I said that Move It is one of the if this was a war, this is one of the wars that the US isn't winning right now. As you can see, Move It is kicking America's ass. And it could be easily avoidable if they weren't so damn greedy. If they took the proper precautions like a lot of these other nations did early on, then they wouldn't be in the mess that they're in right now. But that's on them. I have no stake in this. Let me move on to the next story. Speaking of the scene, we're still talking about it. I didn't realize I had this many stories talking about this. But look at this right here. Report: CDC paid NFL Alumni Association $3.5 million to promote the scene. In other words, they said you got to pay us to talk about your shit. We ain't doing it for free. So if you see the NFL talking about promoting the scene in some kind of an ad, that's because the CDC paid them to do it. What's going on, Donna? See? The federal government has been trying to get people to get the scene. Those efforts have met a surprising but maybe not amount of resistance. Along the way, the CDC reportedly paid the NFL Alumni Association $3.5 million to promote the scene, according to TMZ. The CDC intends to award a sole source firm fixed price purchase order to the NFL Alumni Association. The notice of intent regarding the grant explains per TMZ. The overall purpose of this contract is to facilitate collaboration among NFL alumni and federal, state, and local public health officials, as well as other local leaders, to address vaccine hesitancy through communication and engagement with communities less likely to get vaccinated. Why does that just sound so subliminal for Black people? The CDC Vaccine Task Force will work directly with the NFLA to promote community level and national COVID-19 education, outreach, and vaccination acceptance. Some of the efforts of the NFL Alumni Association can be seen here. The obvious goal is to get former players to buy into the scene, hopeful that they will then influence others to do the same. Look at that. Get former players to buy into the scene, hopeful that they will then influence others to do the same. And you can tell that some of them are being paid. Like, you can tell some of them don't want to be up there talking about this. But if the money looking right, they'll get up there and they'll put on a happy face. Payments like this happen with an abundance of transparency. Surely the CDC issued many other similar grants this year, and whatever the federal government has done wasn't enough to bust through the inexplicable stubbornness of too many Americans who refuse to get the scene. Frankly, articles that contain vague lists of corruption or waste will do little to help get those who have been having a rational distrust of the government to do what is in the best interest of all Americans and get the damn shot. And honestly, the NFL Alumni Association is not the only organization the CDC has paid to promote this scene. It makes you wonder what other organizations and groups they've paid and how much they paid. You got to think $3.5 million. That's a lot of money to us. That's not a lot of money to them because they make way more than that. But they paid them $3.5 million just to get out there and say how good the scene is and how badly you need to take it. What's going on, Terry? Menace X said, maybe people don't want it. What happened to my body, my choice? Menace, we live in a capitalist society. What is my body, my choice? What is that? Now, what you don't want to happen is what's his name? Ron DeSantis and Governor Wills down in Texas are doing. We're just trying to do a whole dictatorship type of thing. Imagine you trying to have a dictatorship within a capitalist society. I think Lisa did a video on her channel where they said in Tennessee 178 kids had to quarantine because someone tested positive for it. Again, this is a money thing. It's all a money thing. When you live into a capitalist society, everything is money driven. And if you are not running on money driven morals, you will get ran over. Remember, the lieutenant governor of Texas said last year something along the lines of, well, there will be sacrifices. He said that and he meant every word. Of course, he's not going to sacrifice himself because he wants to see this thing to the end. And mind you, he was talking about people in his age bracket. I'm like, does that include you? But no. That man was willing to sacrifice his own family. What does that tell you? I think this. I look at it like this. Wove It has exposed so much about the US alone in just the last year and a half that some people were not aware of before then. So it's almost like a bittersweet blessing in disguise. Bittersweet because it's messed up that this is going on with people and the lives that are being affected, but it's also sweet at the same time because now we get to see how America, in a way, is truly ran. If you really look into um, or really study how they move. Craig said, down here, home of the Klan, these weak folks have never worn masks. I can believe it. I can believe it. That's why I said when they going back into this mask mandate, I feel bad for some of these businesses that's gonna have to deal with their foolishness because I already know what they're gonna say. I've seen a couple of videos with Karen and Kyle going crazy. Well, I got the vaccine. I don't know why I need to wear a mask. I can't breathe. My got conditions. Well, if you got a condition, stay the hell home then. Because I know in California they were like the first state to mandate that they were going to do the mask back indoors again, at least for Los Angeles County. I don't know about the rest of the state, but Gavin Newsom is the governor, so it might be the whole state. Because I heard or saw in Montgomery County, which is here in Maryland, they're doing the same thing that California is doing, where they're mandating masks be worn inside of businesses again for Montgomery County. If Larry Hogan has it his way, he will mandate it for the rest of the state of Maryland, which means that includes myself because I don't live in Montgomery County. I live in PG County, but PG County is in Maryland. If y'all want to be entertained, I would say go on the YouTube and just look, type in Karen mask and just watch her just flip out over the damn mask. It's rather funny. It's funny to me. It is. But let me move on. I think that's my last Wove It based story for the day. Now we're going to talk about a flop. Y'all want to see who the flop is? This Laurel Hubbard, transgender weightlifter, exits Olympic competition early after failing on all three attempts. Now, this is the person that represented New Zealand. They weren't Team USA, they were Team New Zealand. And they allowed this person who was born a man but now lives as a woman to compete in the games against other women in weightlifting and ended up losing. Now, on the flip side of this, some people have pointed this to me out on Twitter. It's not necessarily that this person lost, which I thought was interesting considering that they still have more, they're still considered biologically a male and they lost to women. But I thought it was, they said that not only is it because they lost, but it's the fact that they were allowed to compete against women, and maybe that's all they wanted this person to do. They said, go in there, don't win. Just go there and compete against the women. That way we can slide some more of you in there the next time. Because if you go in there and win, they're going to say, oh, you had an advantage because you're technically a man. But if you go in there and lose, then, maybe that can open the door and have more come through. And I said, you know what? I didn't look at it that way. But that's actually a strong point. And some of you in the chat probably didn't think of that either. I'm going to be honest. Because you got to think, they said failing on three attempts, not one attempt, not two, but all three. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this person lost on purpose. That's why people keep saying, why not just let them have a sport where they're competing against each other so it doesn't be a conflict. But it's out of my hands. Let me see what else they're talking about here. It says Laurel Hubbard, a transgender weightlifter from New Zealand, was knocked out of the women's 87 plus kilogram competition early after failing on all three of their attempts. Hubbard failed on the first attempt to get 120 kilogram above their head, bailing out early. On the second attempt at 125, they were able to get the weight up and pumped her fist after in satisfaction. However, judges ruled it a no lift. Yeah, and this is the person right here. You want me to believe that that's a woman? But you know who they look like right there? Who remembers the movie Matilda? Doesn't that look like the Principal Trunchbull? And ironically, in that movie, the principal was in the Olympics, but not for weightlifting, no. You can look at that person and clearly tell that's a man. And he looked like he just shitted out that bar. Hmm. But yeah, I truly believe that's really all it was. Now that that perspective is put out there, I think this person lost on purpose. Terry Jones says, but didn't Trunchbull hit the waist though? I can't remember if she did or if she didn't. But I knew she threw the no, she threw the javelin and she threw the shot put. The shot put and the javelin. She didn't hit the weights. It was a shot put and the javelin. I remember it now. That's a classic movie. I don't care what anybody said. If you never seen the movie Matilda, I would highly suggest that you do. And if you have kids, make them watch it too. That's a very good movie. I was still at the age of 32. I would still sit down and watch that movie from beginning to end like I never watched it a day in my life. Blacklight said, "Look up Alec Menon and his tweet about the LGBTQ bathrooms." I'll put that in my notes. All right, let's move on from this to something that is just. I hate to have to talk about it, but I have to talk about it. And we got to go into ratchet territory, y'all. Hate to have to do it, but it must be done. Remember, we are equal opportunity over here, and we have to spread out this equal opportunism to everybody. So I'm sure that many of you are aware of this video right here. My God. I'm going to just go ahead and play the video and give my commentary. Okay, so y'all just saw this, y'all. This is probably about as bad as the one from last year at that black man's restaurant down in Texas. Mainly because the lighting in here and we can really see it. The other one, it was dark. You could see it and you could tell it was going on, but he checked them. I'm glad he checked them. This is exactly why places like Turkey Leg Hut put in a dress code. Did you see what some of them had on? And one of them, did she have on any underwear? I'm talking about getting on the tables, spreading their cooch juice all over the place. This is very unsanitary. This is a restaurant where food is made and consumed. And you decided to get your I'm trying to I'm trying to put it into words. You got your paranormal activity ass literally on this table and on these chairs and thought you was at goddamn Magic City. Exactly, Emerald Princess club wear. Like, look at her. She's wearing something that you would wear to the damn club. I don't know what restaurant they were in because they didn't specify it. I think one of the workers tried to get them to come down off the table, but they kept doing it anyway. I don't know what it is with some of these individuals. When they hear a certain song, they just got to get up and twerk everywhere they go, no matter where they go. Yeah, Jake, you saw that, right? She had on a white dress and it was rolling up. Like you could literally see damn near between her whole legs. But these would be the same ones that try to get on social media and say niggas ain't shit, black men ain't shit, that we're this and that, we're that, this, that, and the third. And when they're done doing all of this, they'll be saying, I'm ready to settle down and I need a man. Justice said this was in Nevada. And how ironic if it was in Nevada, because in Nevada isn't prostitution legal out there? I know it's legal in Vegas, and Vegas is in Nevada. Chosen one said that's why I'm playing 80s pop music in my restaurant if I had one. Listen, they'll find a way to twerk to that too. If it has a beat that allows them to shake their ass, they'll do it. Gary Jane said, "Don't no real man want that." Exactly. A bum may want that, but a real man does not want this at all. And then I saw someone the other day literally came into the store that I was at, literally dressed like they just rolled out of the bed. I'm like, I'm staring at you with the bonnet on. I'm staring at you moniquely. That's a word that I came up with. Jennifer said, Jennifer said, "What in the hood, zebra?" I didn't even pay attention that her dress was zebra print. But yeah, this is embarrassing. And the thing is, it's embarrassing for us to watch, but they're not embarrassed. The ones doing this are not embarrassed. She has a whole audience who's enabling it. I don't know what both of them are bad. One, that she's on the table doing this, and two, that there are people enabling her behavior. I wouldn't be surprised if she has a child or a few. But like I said, it's just the fact that, like I've always said, there is a time and there is a place for everything. This was not the time or the place for that. You could have did this at home. You could have did this at the club, not at a damn restaurant on the chairs and around food. Like you gotta think. Let me go back. Where's that one that was on the table? Let me see if I can. Let me see. I hope I didn't. I don't know if I went back far enough. See this right here, where I have my cursor going around like this? That's someone bent over with their dress riding up. And while she's there, you have another one smacking her ass on the table where food is at. Now, what you know would have been funny? You know what would have been funny is if her big ass would have fell and the table collapsed. That would have been some funny shit. And guess what? If that had happened, this would have been a Triple P video for sure. I bet you Kryptonite is holding that damn table up. That's the only way, because that thing could have collapsed. Amar said they won't twerk to rock music or Barney music. Hey, if they can switch the beat up a little bit, they'll find, like I said, all they got to do is find the beat and they'll find a way. Non-Kami Kami, they made out of vibranium. The legs on that table was made out of goddamn vibranium, straight out of Wakanda. Crystal said, "Did you see the video of the lap dance at the funeral?" I heard something about a funeral. Again, time and place. Why are you doing a lap dance at a goddamn funeral? Like somebody is dead and about to be put in the ground. You want to have a damn lap dance? I don't know what it is with some people. I don't know what it is. But this is like sheer embarrassment and ignorance at the end of the day. That's all it is. Terry Jones says the thought culture needs to go. It would go, but see, here's the thing. Thought culture has now become profitable. It's become trendy. So it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, unfortunately. As long as you have stuff like this and people who are tied to these record labels promoting it, it's not going to go anywhere. Look at Amber Thorne, aka Amber Rose, with her cue ball head ass, doing a whole damn slut walk. Because of course it's okay to be a slut. Slut shaming. What the fuck is a slut shaming? If you being a slut, I'm a call. That's what you're gonna be called. Oh, you don't want to be called a slut? Okay, you can be called a thigh. But I'm gonna get off of this and move on to the next one. Now, this next one, bear with me, y'all, because I got to talk about this one. So we all know what's going on with the baby and the whole situation. I got a whole video coming up about that too. So I'm not going to talk about that here. I'm going to talk about this segment on Fox Soul that still is laughable to me, where this segment called TGIF, and T is spelled TEAGIF, where you have these three right here. Al Reynolds. If you don't know who Al Reynolds is, he was the guy that used to be married to Star Jones, even though I truly believe that he's we'll leave it like that. Claudia Jordan and Funky Dineva. I want you all to, I'm gonna play, because at first I wasn't gonna play the whole thing, but it's 10 minutes long, so I figure it's not that long. And listen to what they say. More specifically, what he says.
Not just fellas, soulmates. Okay, y'all, we got more of the baby news because he in the news every day now, ever since it went down last week. In light of his second apology, in which he stated, people want to demolish you before you have room to grow. It seems like the baby is continuing to be dropped from a host of music festivals, including last weekend's Lollapalooza, iHeartRadio, Midtown Music Festival, Austin City Festival, Day in Vegas, Governor's Ball Festival, and the UK's Park Life Festival. What are your thoughts on the music festivals, dropping the baby, and all that's happening? And what do you think about his apology? Second one.
First of all, his apology is a bunch of bullshit. Number one, what I didn't like about the apology is that he's putting the responsibility on other people. Like you didn't even take full accountability. You're coming at us like we did something wrong. Secondly, let's not remember, you don't even mean this, okay? Because you doubled down after you made the statement on the stage and you caught backlash. You then got on social media and taunted the gays again and said, I'm not talking about my gay fans because my gay fans are not nasty. They don't have HIV and AIDS. You meant what you said, and I am sorry. You don't have these types of attitudes on Monday, and then Wednesday, you're a whole different person. Your pockets don't got messed up. They canceling your shows, and the baby is about to be the broke, and now you want to come back and apologize. This is the type of accountability that I've been looking for. And this is what the labels need to start doing to these artists who are irresponsibly socially.
Okay, let me just address Funky Degenerate right quick with just that, because I'm gonna break this up into pieces. That apology, quote unquote, that the baby came out with the second time with that written one, anyone looking at that could tell that did not come from him. Because if you listen to what he said in the video versus what was written, they sound like two different people. You can tell that second one came from a publicist. And this is the same thing that Stephen A. Smith did in a video that I did a couple weeks back when he was supposedly apologizing to that Asian baseball player. In one video, he's talking greasy, and then the next time he quote unquote apologizes for real is in a written statement. It's not in the video. I'm like this: consistency matters. If you're gonna say something in a video, keep following up with another video. Don't do something written this time, because then, you know, like I say, tone is everything. But I truly believe that second apology from the baby was not from him. That was definitely from a publicist. Now, when Funky Degenerate said that that this is the kind of accountability that we have been looking for, I read through some of the comments that was left here. And believe it or not, some of the people in the comment section of this video actually had some damn sense, shockingly. What the black people in the academy have to understand is if it was not for the white ones, the baby would not have gotten quote unquote canceled. What power do you have to cancel anybody? As far as I'm concerned, you're riding the coattails of your white counterparts who don't give a damn about you either. Because the only reason the baby's quote unquote getting canceled is because Elton John came out and said something. Last time I checked, Elton John is a white British gay man who has a lot of pull. He has a lot of connects. Funky Degenerate couldn't cancel the baby on his own. Billy Porter couldn't cancel the baby on his own. RuPaul couldn't cancel the baby on his own. What's her name? What's the name? The Cox chick. Person. Laverne Cox couldn't cancel the baby on their own. You have no power. You just have the label of being a homosexual person. And a label don't mean shit. Let's continue.
Al, what do you think?
I can't do anything but agree with Q on it. But let me share with you a different perspective that I would like us to do. I am amazed at how the LGBTQ plus community has laid this out. That's 8 organizations, 4 universities, and a half a dozen of people have commanded that he take accountability for his actions. And they have shut him down in 6 festivals, amounting to about $1 million in revenue to this young man. This is how powerful their word, when they come together, is. I like to say, let's take this as a learning moment for the African-American community, and let's take our power as the same subgroup and understand our purchasing power and make people responsible and accountable when they do us wrong in our community, the same way that the LGBTQ community is making the baby responsible for his gross actions. On top of that, the baby, if you really want to prove to us what you really feel, if that was really what you said, then take this organization's open letter and do as they suggest. Because what they're saying is, we're not going to ostracize you anymore. We're going to open the door for you to come in and help educate. So it would be my advice to you, young man, stop having your publicist write your statements, take the invitation, sit with people and learn and teach others for the mistake that you've made. Because in less than 5 days, you're out of a couple of $1 million.
Well, let me stop right there. That's what Al had to say. Now, I will say that Al had some points and then he had some misses. The point that he made about Black people coming together to actually do what the Academy did in just a few days with the baby is something that we should do when it comes to dealing with our people on that aspect. However, where he missed was the organizations in which he's talking about that came and quote unquote dealt with the baby, quote unquote, are all white ran Academy groups. Not one of those people has a Black face at the head of it or a Black person who owns it. That's why I said the Black people in the Academy have no power. They're just a face. You're just there. You are just there. And many of them, like Funky Degenerate, has yet to realize that, which is probably why his face looks all droopy as it does right now in this picture. Because a lot of people were calling out the hypocrisy of the Academy. They were saying how the baby has said so many things about Black people, Black men, and Black women over the years, but not one of them had anything to say. And that goes to you too, those in the Academy. Y'all were singing his songs and rapping his lyrics and everything like that. But the minute he said something you didn't like, then you got right on it and felt some type of way. And I have a feeling that some of you got your marching orders from the white ones. And I have a feeling that many of you wouldn't have said shit if they didn't say anything. So it's a lot of hypocrisy here. There's a lot of hypocrisy that is just flourishing through this whole thing. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize and see it for what it is. But they're so hell-bent in destroying this guy. I saw somewhere where they said that 11 LGBT organizations reached out to the baby to try to give him a quote-unquote lesson. I said they're doing the same damn thing they did with Nick Cannon last year with them Jewish organizations. The same thing. And how much you want to bet that a lot of those LGBT organizations are Jewish ran? I saw that somewhere. It said like 11 organizations said that they wanted to have a discussion with him about what he said that was allegedly homophobic. But like I said, I'm gonna really go into my the commentary that I made the other day. I don't know when it's gonna go up, but because I'm uploading my videos in the order as I record them, so it's up there, but it's coming. So now I'm gonna play it and see what Claudia has to say.
So is there? So you're saying he can be redeemed, right? If he sits down with the community, the leaders of the community.
They basically have given him an olive branch, and they said that we're going to take this as an opportunity not to crush you, but to raise you up as an influencer and educate, because they all shared in the open letter that the African American community is disproportionately suffering from this disease and this type of homophobic rant. So like I shared on the show before, we're 42% of the cases. All the new cases, we're close to 0.5% of the new cases. We need to take this opportunity. If he's really true, if he really made that statement, that he needs to step in his truth, and he needs to use this as a learning opportunity, not only for himself, but to teach the other people that follow him, and by the millions.
Q, what do you think? Can he come back?
Now listen to this, because this is the part that really made me want to talk about this because I wanted y'all just listen to what his response is. Funky Degenerate already has his mind made up. In his mind, before I continue playing it, there's no redeeming the baby. In his mind, he's already had his mind made up. And I'm willing to bet that Funky Degenerate was bumping his music when he was talking bad about black people and black women, but the minute he says something about him because of his sexuality, now he wants to get offended. Funky Degenerate is that type of person that to me leads with his sexuality and not his race. James Baldwin is turning over in his grave.
This is going to sound very bad. I have no faith in Negroes like him.
Okay.
I just don't. I just don't have any faith in them. I just think that the level of ignorance is down to their bone marrow. I think at this point that he would go sit at the table with the community, with the people, and he would fake and pretend. But when he gets home, he would still be calling us all kind of faggots and sissies. He still is going to.
Let me stop right there. When he said that, it's people that's in that community that call each other that all the time. I'm not going to say it on here, but it's people who are in that community who say those two words he just said to each other all the time. And sometimes they'll say it to other people outside of the community. But if you dare even utter the word and not even to them, canceled. Hell, even the word punk has become weaponized for them to use against you. If you even say the word punk, and at one time that wasn't even meant as a homophobic slur. That would just meant that you was a bitch. Or you were scared. They've weaponized that word, in case y'all didn't know.
He's still a part of a culture, a big part of a culture that is very homophobic.
Now listen to that. He said he is still very much a part of a big culture that is very homophobic. In other words, what he's saying is black heterosexual men are the most homophobic. There it is. He didn't have to say it. That's what he alluded to. Crystal Chin, he said Funky has called Kevin Samuels that word. He did. He did. I remember that. I saw it. He called Kevin Samuels a sissy. He called him a big sissy. Those were his words. So now you call this man. Now I don't watch Kevin Samuels like that. I don't. But there's a lot of people that do. He has over 1 million subscribers. So he has a lot of people that watch, and a lot of them are women. A lot of women call into his show. He called that man a big sissy. But he's getting mad about what the baby said. So you cannot have your cake and eat it too.
I just don't think there's any rehabilitating somebody like him.
So let me ask you this, and you know, we speak freely here. Mm-hmm. Should it be over if you had it your way with how you feel about him and his potential or lack of capacity to really make a real change? Would you be satisfied or feel good about him to lose everything, to just be done and to really be canceled?
It would be really cruel for me to sit here and say I would want somebody to lose everything. Mm-hmm. He definitely needs to be punished. You know.
Listen to that. I think it will be cruel for me to say, to sit here and say that he should lose everything, but I feel that he needs to be punished. I could go through all these Fox Soul videos and not one of them has talked about Ed Buck. Now that's someone who deserves to be punished. And I hope that he gets his punishment when he gets behind bars. Craig said, what did he say about Ed Buck? Because I missed it. I missed it too. And you know why we missed it? Because he ain't say shit.
He definitely needs to be sidelined for a little while. I mean, there's redemption for everybody. Everybody can come back. His music career is not done. And there's one point I want to make. because I've read a lot of comments, and Black people get very upset when the LGBTQ plus community makes moves. Black people feel slighted. They feel like, oh, if I was gay, these things would happen. And I want to just educate the Black community. It's not because we gay that we make strides. It's because the community is comprised of white men as well, with all of their white male privilege.
There it is. Boom. Did y'all hear that? Did you hear that? He said that the Black community is mad with the gay community because they're making strides and we're not. And he said it's not because that they're gay, it's because it's comprised of white men with their white male privilege and white finances. So in other words, the only way that the Black people who are in the academy can make strides is because white Zaddy, who happens to be in the community himself, is the one leading the charge with the money. As in, basically, they don't contribute shit. They're just there. I did not just say that. They're just there. He just admitted it out of his mouth. Many others won't say it, but he said it. Let me go back and play it again just in case y'all missed it.
Makes moves. Black people feel slighted. They feel like, oh, if I was gay, these things would happen. And I want to just educate the Black community. It's not because we gay that we make strides. It's because the community is comprised of white men as well, with all of their white male privilege. And that is why the LGBTQ plus community is able to make strides. If it was just people of color, trans people, or women, trust and believe, the community would not be making any strides. It is the white men with all of their white privilege that comprises the community and why we're able to make these strides. And when and let me tell you something, when Elton John spoke up, that's what he was done.
And he just said it. What did I just say? Because I didn't watch this whole video. When Elton John spoke up, that's when it hit. I said that. When Elton John said something, that was it. That's why I said if Billy Porter, Funky Degenerate, Laverne Cox, all those people, RuPaul, if it was just them, nothing would have happened. But when Elton John said something, that's when all the cancellations, quote unquote, started to happen. So what is this telling you? The only way they can make strides is they have to lean on the white men in that community. If they stripped away that, they would have nothing. Point proven. I feel like I don't even have to play the rest of this video. That's what I wanted to hear. That was the part I wanted to hear. Now, I don't like Funky Degenerate, but I'm glad he said that. Because not many will admit what he said or say what he said. And he looked like he was kind of hesitant to say it because he didn't just come straight out and say it. He looked like he kind of hesitated, but he said it. But the thing is, many of us already knew that, but we needed to hear from somebody who was within that community, and preferably somebody who was Black. And that's what we got right here. And even Al shook his head in agreement and said and was agreeing with him. Like I said, this right here shows they have no power. They don't have no power. That's why when they get excited about something like this, they're really saying, thank you, white Zaddy. That's what they're saying. That's probably what they were saying about Elton John. I bet you Elton John's music streams probably went through the roof. Because notice, look at the timeline. when people were saying stuff about the baby, he wasn't getting canceled like that. But the minute Elton John said something, oh, we're pulling you from this festival, we're pulling you from that festival, you're not coming here, you're not coming here. Like the baby literally got pulled from like 6 festivals in a week. And some of them he was slated to perform like within the next couple of days. Like that Lollapalooza one, he got pulled from that literally like the day before he was supposed to perform. I don't have to play the rest of it. That was the point that was proven. That's all I needed to hear. Now I'm going to play one last thing. Now this one is going to be more of the comedic video right here. I saw this video yesterday and I said, I got to show this to my subscribers. Y'all are going to laugh at this shit. Some of y'all may have already seen it, but I want y'all to watch this shit and get a good ass laugh from it because I know I did.
I have a question. When y'all got out of the car the other day and my old man was right here, why was y'all being rude? Because that right there made him cry all motherfucking night.
Rude about what?
Laughing at him.
About what?
I don't know. Y'all were sitting, your old lady was sitting right here staring at him, and so were y'all's friends, and y'all were cracking up. When you came out, you looked at him too.
Oh, no, we just thought
Well,
Now,
that's
don't
what
answer
he's
no
doing.
stupid ass question.
That's not stupid. I'm just asking.
I promise you that every day I come out here from now on, I'm going to make fun of you every time I walk out the door. Every time I go in the door, I'm going to make fun of you.
Well,
I don't
just like I'm
care.
going to do you.
I don't care if you sit over there and cry yourself to sleep every night.
Well, you don't have to.
But if
because
you
know
don't
what?
break your ass over there,
I want you to put me out. I want you to do it.
Leanne, he can't put you in jail.
I know we
Go to
can't.
hell, you son of a-
get the hell out of this
No,
yard.
you put me out.
You got
No, he's going to put me out.
5 minutes. Get the fuck out of this yard, you stupid fucking bitch.
Hey, you need to quit
Or
calling
get
goddamn
the
names.
fuck over there.
Hey, you do something about it. You call him now, you sorry son of a bitch.
What are you gonna fucking do?
You do something.
Put your fucking
You
hands
goddamn do something.
I want you to touch
I
me.
want you to put me out of the
So fucking
shark.
bad.
Put me out of the shark.
Touch
He
me.
can put you in jail.
You want me out of the shark? Put me out.
Louder. I'm not prissy. You guys just need to
Shut
leave
up.
us alone.
Just
He
be
needs
quiet.
to
I
leave
asked a
her
simple
alone.
question.
Get the fuck
Put me
out of the
out.
fucking yard.
Come on. No. Leanne, goddamn.
No, I want him to put his
Get
hands
the
on
fuck
me.
out. I'm telling you.
Put your
Fine.
hands on her.
Get
I
the
want you to put
fuck
your
out
hands on
of the
me.
fucking yard. Get the fuck out of here.
Put your hands on me.
Come on. Come on. Get the fuck out.
Oh, your voice got deep.
Leanne.
But now it's back.
Come on. Come on. Get the fuck.
You put your
Let's
hands
go.
up. Fuck
Let's
you.
go. You two. Let's
Put
go.
me out. No.
Whoa. No, you're all gonna
You
get
back the
the fuck out.
fuck up.
Get the fuck out. Keep going.
No.
Keep going.
I'm not.
Oh, she just touched me. I'm hurt.
Come on, come on.
Hey, you touch my mama, I'm fucking you
Keep
up.
recording.
Let's go.
Keep recording.
Oreo, come here now.
Go.
Oreo.
Come on, get your ass out.
The dog's name is
Or babe,
Oreo.
get Oreo now.
Come here, boy. Oreo. Come here, boy.
Get along and go over and see the yard and put diapers on. Put diapers on
I
that
am going to
bitch.
sue you for that.
I lost my
fucking
ring in your
No,
yard.
I don't care. Get the
I'm
fuck
getting
out.
my goddamn ring. Guys, please.
Come on. Get the fuck out. Let's go.
No, let her
I'm
find
getting
her
my
ring.
goddamn ring. I'm getting my
Babe,
motherfucking mom.
don't,
Are you
stop,
fucking-
babe, stop.
Charlie.
Hey, boy.
Oh my god.
Oh, really?
Get the fuck out. Everybody's going.
Babe, stop, babe. Stop, please stop. Say what you got. I didn't do anything.
I want you to go say, God.
I want my goddamn ring. Stop. Oh my god. Stop. Stop. Babe, please come here. Just stop. I'm getting my
Get
ring.
the fuck out of here.
No, I'm getting my goddamn ring.
Go.
I just want everybody to leave. I'll get it.
Right there. You hit my wife, boy.
I'm taking you with me.
We call the law.
Babe, come on.
And that's the whole bit. When I saw this video yesterday, I could not stop laughing. Everything from this video from beginning to end was nothing but jokes for me. I don't know where this happened at, but I thought this was just so damn hilarious. Versatile said this is the only shower they took in a long time. Man, this was hilarious. This was too funny. And they got the nerve to talk about us being ghetto. This is what mainstream media won't put out there. Too bad he didn't yell World Star, because that's exactly where it would have ended up. You just had to say the one words and it would have ended up on World Star, and it somehow would have went viral. No King said, "You hit my wife, boy." Man, this was so funny. This was so hilarious. My goodness. But hey, this is what drugs will do to you, y'all. Like if you do drugs like this is exactly what will happen. This is exactly what will happen. But this is going to end this video right here, this stream for this week. I'm so glad everybody could come through. Shout out to everybody that I was able to finally make a mod, because I finally used my other account to make that happen. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to everybody who liked the video, shared the video, anybody who was new and subscribed to the channel. I greatly appreciate you for coming through. We will be back on the main channel tomorrow. You know, the usual 3 videos, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do have a special video that will be going up this evening. It is going to be my review for the Suicide Squad movie. I saw it last night. I'm going to give my take on it in that video this evening on my main channel at 8 p.m. So I will be sending out the reminder for that closer to that time. But with that being said, I'm going to get off of this. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Have a safe weekend, and I'll talk to you all later.